Okay guys, I'm making this video because I just watched this movie in my college class, my Western Heritage class, about HIV AIDS and how it affects the world. It's called A Closer Walk. It's a very good film, made in the early 2000s. You should watch it. You don't have to watch this video, but I felt the need to say something about this because it really affected me as a person, and I think that we should talk about it more. Every 8 seconds, someone dies from AIDS, and 25 million people have already died. And to think that we're letting this happen is crazy, because there's so much that we can do as a society, as a world. There's so much that we can do. We could help raise awareness for this. We can help people who are in Africa who are affected mostly by this disease. 2,000 children every day are born with HIV/AIDS by mother to child infection. There's a drug that helps prevent this. It takes it from like 30% down to almost 0% transmission. And women do not have access to this. And I can't believe that. And I don't know a lot about HIV/AIDS. I really don't. And I don't know all the statistics for it or the information that I should know. People should know. I can't believe that we're letting this happen as a society. And it's not just gay people who are being affected. In America, 50% of the infected are the African American population. We're letting this happen by not telling people, by not offering the services needed. A lot of people don't have access to the drugs that could help them stay alive. I'm dumbfounded by this, to believe, to hear, to see that people are needlessly dying because of this, because we're not helping them. In 2005, 650,000 children were born with HIV/AIDS. 5.6 million children have already died from AIDS. Now, this is information from the 2000 film, so it may be more now, and I don't know. It's just crazy to think about that many children who are innocent, who have no choice in the matter, are dying. Literally, they are skin and bones, and they die. I just can't believe it. We need to talk about it. We need to help change the stigma about it and start getting help for these people who are infected with it, who don't have any other way of life. In Africa, when it's literally grandparents and children, because their parents die, and then once they're gone, the society kind of like alienates them, because they think that because of their lack of knowing how this disease is spread, makes them think that even talking to them, they will get infected with this, and they're literally left alone, all by themselves. They don't get the proper education because of it. They don't get the proper environment that they should live in. They don't eat. They don't have health care. I could not imagine living like that, and I'm very grateful that I don't have to live like that. But the fact that those people do is sad. As a human, as a person, I feel very strongly about this. It really affected me today after walking out of this class, watching this film, and seeing what really is happening, what really happened. And people don't care as much as they should, because this could happen to anybody. I mean, the disease is spread through sharing blood and semen and vaginal secretions. Sorry, I can't say that. And also through breast milk. Like, if a mother is infected with it and breastfeeds her child, the child could be infected with it, and that's sad to think about. I couldn't imagine myself if I had a child and I infected my child and I knew that they were going to die because I wouldn't have access to the proper health care. Like, could not imagine having to go through that, but lots of people do. Something needs to change. Like, that's the moral of this video. Like, something needs to change, and it needs to change now, because it's still affecting people today. And there was a story, I'm from Indiana, and when I was growing up, my health classes weren't very good. I went to inner city public school, and we really never talked about this topic as much as we probably should have, and that's why I'm very uninformed about HIV/AIDS and other diseases like that that is decimating the population. And I think that if we change that, then, and people learn more about this, then maybe the stigma will change. And when I was in elementary school, we had this story that we read about a boy who lived in Indiana and was infected with HIV/AIDS by blood transfusion, and there's nothing that they could do for him to reverse it because it was permanent. It happened, and there's nothing he could do or his family could do. And he went to school, and people found out, and they kicked him out of school. They would not let him go to school because, now, this was like the 80s, so people really didn't know a lot like some people do now. Not a lot of people know. But they kicked him out of school because of this, something that he didn't ask for, didn't want to happen. Nobody wants it to happen. And they kicked him out because he was infected with HIV/AIDS, and the parents didn't want their kids to get infected. But there was no way that was going to happen unless they shared needles or blood or they had sex. And they didn't know that, and they should have. And this went on for a very long time until he died. He's dead. He's been dead. And it's very sad to think about. And I just can't believe that people are losing their humanity because they're not helping when they can. There's so many things that we could do. You know, we could raise awareness for it is the first step. Talking to people about it, letting people know, like, how it really is, what really happens, how you can really contract it. You can stop it by, if you are going to have sex and you are HIV positive, talking to your partner about it and only having sex with that person, and take the precautions necessary to prevent that, like using condoms, and there's medication that you can take to keep, if you already have the disease, to help you stay alive longer. And a lot of people don't have access to that, and that's why they're dying. There's mother-to-child prevention drugs to prevent the spread between mother and child. And a lot of people in like India and China and rural places like that do not have access to that. Why? Why? 70% of infection, this is statistic from 2000s, 70% of infection is spread through drug use. And the drug users are in poverty. And I don't recommend being a drug user even if you are poor. Like, don't do it. But to help stop that, offer them clean needles. Make sure that they have clean needles. Tell them don't share needles to reduce this. And then help them beat their drug addiction. And we need to talk about it. People need to talk about it. We need to talk about a lot of stuff in this world. A lot of things. And they just get glossed over. And that's not okay. Because how would you feel if you got it and nobody would help you? Nobody wanted to be around you. You didn't have friends, you didn't have family who was there for you. How would you feel? You would feel awful and alone. And that's not okay. We need to talk about this more. It needs to be in the schools. We need better health classes. And we need to tell people. We need to inform people